Hey, yo, what up? What up, y'all? And welcome to Thinkers Anonymous. I'm your boy EIG, and we're going to ride this out together. But first, I want to thank everybody who has listened, subscribed. Even if you've listened and you didn't subscribe, I want to thank you so much. I'm so grateful for your time because you could have been doing anything else. You could have been choosing anything to do with your time, but you chose to take a listen, and I really appreciate it. And I hope that this podcast helps in some fashion, in some way. So let's get right to it, y'all. Today's episode's title is "By Any Pain Necessary." By any pain necessary. And in this episode, I'm really speaking to a specific people. The people that are tired of hurting. Those people that are sick and tired of being sick and tired. The people that are dealing with depression. The people that feel away and don't want to feel away, but you can't help it. The people that are dealing with things emotionally that you can't shake. Things in life that happen to us that leave scars, that stick with us, that we carry as baggage. Those people, I hope this helps. So that the title says, "By any pain necessary." And truthfully, when you think about that and you hear those words, pain and necessary, and really what it sounds like I'm saying is that the pain had to be there. And to be truthful with you all, that's exactly what I'm saying. That hurt that happened to you, it had to happen. The very thing that make your stomach turn or make you go into a low depression, that had to happen. And why do I say that? Well, in any of life's dilemmas, it's how we feel that we really wish we could change. Things happen. And I mean serious things happen, not just I had a rough day, but things that really hit us and hurt us to the core. Those things that hurt us and, our vices won't fix, won't help, won't heal. Those things that we have to do to pacify the pain. It's how we feel that we wish we could change, right? Because if you look at it, let's say if I found out that somebody close to me betrayed me, somebody, lied on me, or you have someone cheat on you. The actual act that they did isn't really what the hurt is. It isn't really what the harm is. That pain, that thing that's sticking with us, the thing that has a stronghold on me is how I feel about it. Because if I could change how I feel about it, then I could be okay in spite of what happened, right? That's how that sounds. And it's exactly true. It's not the events where that big hurt is. The hurt is the hurt is internal. Those hurts that we can't shake, that we can't stop thinking about. So it sounds like we're saying change the way I feel. Change the way I feel. That would seem to be the solution, right? That's so easier said than done, though. I mean, it sounds so philosophical, right? Sounds so deep. Change the way you feel. And I can remember hearing that at certain times in my life when, being younger. And in years prior, hearing that, well, just change the way you feel. Well, how can I change the way I feel about something that I feel was so hurtful? Something that tore me to the core, even losing a loved one. Change the way I feel. It's not that easy, but we can do it. We can do it. If you heard that said nowadays, people really think you're crazy, right? They think you went left field. They think, oh, now you're into this mysticism. Now you're just talking crazy. But it's so true. Now you may say, if it's true, then why is pain necessary? If I can just choose the way I feel, something can happen to me and I can choose to be at peace, then why is the pain necessary? That's a good question. And before we get into that, I want to read this definition of suffering to y'all. This definition says, suffering, an experience of unpleasantness or aversion possibly associated with the perception of harm or threat of harm in an individual. And if you pay attention to the key words in there, the perception of harm or the threat of harm, but not technically harm itself to the individual. The issue is in the perception. The issue is in the threat. And so the issue means that I'm only dealing with this thing in my mind. And y'all know what I mean. Because when we're really hurting and struggling with something, it's internally, it's in our head that we're dealing with that pain. When we say we don't want to hurt no more, it's not our body physically hurting, although these things manifest themselves physically in our bodies. But that internal pain, what we really want to stop hurting, the bleeding we want to stop. This is all perception. So are you saying that how I feel or what I think about a situation is only my perception of the issue? It's only the threat of the issue? Yes. It is not the issue. The issue is what I'm dealing with. The issue is how I'm thinking about it. And a good way to help us through that, through the problems that we have, through that dilemma that you're in, is to remember this. What happened had to happen. Say that to yourself. What happened had to happen. Oh, you can think back on the shouldas and the couldas and the wouldas. But none of that really matters because it's not what happened. What happened had to happen. God makes no mistakes. He makes no mistakes. So that dilemma that's in front of you, that issue that's in front of you, clearly there's got to be something for me in this thing. But it's hard to really read that. If I want to be honest, it sounds good in a church setting, in a motivational speech setting, a podcast. Anybody, you can hear it and it's, oh, that sounds good. But it's another thing when my life is crumbling before my very eyes and someone to just tell me, change the way I feel. I'll remind you of a scripture that says all things work together. And if all things work together for the good, if it's working together for my betterment, that means there's always something in every issue that I face. There's always a message, a gift in it. But the issue is, do we really want that? Are we really willing to let go? Because any issue, any hurting that you're doing, I know you may say they did me wrong. I know you may say, no, you just don't understand. There's some things that happened in my life that you wouldn't believe. But there's no circumstance that you don't have to deal with internally. At the end of the day, when it all boils down, when the smoke settles, this thing is an internal matter. I always hear it said, hey, go back and talk to that younger you. And I would always say, huh? Why, why, why do I need to go back and talk to the younger me? What am I going to say to him? Hmm? What am I going to say to this young man when my marriage is falling apart? Who am I supposed to go talk to when finances are a wreck and I don't know what I'm going to do day to day? How's that going to help? Well, how I like to view that is I'm not just going back to speak to a younger me to say, hey, how you doing there, sir? How you doing, young man? No. But the only purpose to go back and to revisit is to redefine what happened to me. I've got to give it a new definition. And that's what all of us have to do with every problem that you're sitting there faced with. That you have to. It is a must, a necessary thing that has it. You can't have peace without it. Because the reason that you're suffering right now, the reason it hurts so long right now, the reason that you can't shake it right now is because whatever happened didn't live up to your expectation. You expected something to be a way, it let you down, and now we're having a fit because of what's happening or what happened, and we're living in turmoil only in our heads. But giving a new meaning to something means you're going to now have a new response to it. Take, for example, when we were kids. You know, kids, we could always fight amongst ourselves, right? Your brothers, cousins, you get to fighting. But when someone from the outside wanted to fight, we wasn't going, right? Everybody, hey, no, no, no. I can do that, but you can't do that. The same thing I did, someone else couldn't do that. But why? And that reason is because it was a different meaning. It had a different definition when somebody else outside the family wanted to fight. It could have been the same thing, a push, a shove, a smack. But why is that? That's all because of that meaning, that new meaning, that different meaning. Content creators. You could see somebody in the comments say, hey, man, this is trash. This is horrible. Who is this guy? Get him out of here. Who does she think she is? But a family member, a loved one, a friend, someone close could say that same thing and really send you through a loop. Why? The same thing that was said, like you could look over someone else that you don't know, but someone close, the same thing flipped your world upside down. It's because the meaning. It's because it had a different meaning. It meant something different coming from someone else. And we've got to use that same formula in life. We've got to give our issues new meanings. Because there are going to be things that come up that remind you of past situations. Maybe you'll see pictures, songs, see someone. And it's really a sad thing when we can just see something, hear a song, and go back into a low vibrating state, go back into worry, go back into anger, go back into fear from being reminded of something. It's not literally going on and happening at the moment. But we could our body feels every bit of it like we're reliving it. We've got to redefine it. Give it a different meaning. What happened to you can't mean what it meant to you the first time around. We've got to reclassify these files, y'all. We've got to put them in a different folder. When we go back and look at what happened, what they did, and we try to figure out why, all these things, they serve you no purpose. It's really just feeding that monster that you want to get out. You're really feeding the very thing that you're saying, I don't want to hurt anymore. I'm tired. We've got to redefine it. You got to give it a new meaning. And that's why pain is necessary, I feel. The title saying by any pain necessary. It's because the pain is the thing that breaks us. And not it just breaks us because, oh, you need to be broken or humbled. And that's true. We don't, being humbled. Yes, absolutely. But that's not what I'm getting at. It's when we're in the rough situations where we let go of whatever it is that we've been trying because we're so tired of it not working. We're so tired of the hurt. The pain puts us to a point of surrender. The pain puts us in a place to where now we're open at least to hear something else I can do. That pain, those situations, we always hear it from time and time again of how people come out of things and say, hey, I'm stronger now. Hey, I'm wiser now. They're not even moved by maybe seeing an old picture, being reminded of something that happened to them previously in life. Because they understood that thing had to happen. That thing had to push so that they could expand. Now, we could choose to not. We don't have to suffer. But let's be honest, most of us, we don't like when things ain't going how we want them. When life isn't giving us what we want. We're throwing adult temper tantrums. It's sticking with us. Why did this have to happen to me? Oh, if I only would have did this. All these thoughts that come one after the other, one after the other. Are we going to subscribe to those thoughts? Are we going to subscribe to that perception, to that threat? There's a quote by Eckhart Tolle that says, suffering is necessary until it isn't. Suffering is necessary until it isn't necessary. And it's not necessary when you know the truth. That's the great news in that. That's the good news in it, is that when we know the truth, we don't have to suffer. Things will move us. We'll have ups and downs. Life will come. There'll be storms, but we don't have to suffer another day. To suffer is to sit with. To suffer is for that thing to not leave us, and I stay in worry, stay in fear. But we don't have to do it another day when we know the truth. Pain will come, yes. Emotions, yes. But it won't stay long. Because we'll know how to change how we feel. And the way to change how we feel is to redefine it. That thing has to be redefined. You got to look at it. You've got to do the work. It's going to be uncomfortable to face that thing and say, well, the very thing that I've been, waving this flag and banner and telling my story about and letting people know that this is how bad it hurt me and this happened. With a new definition, you automatically look for the good in it because well, if it had to be here, if this thing had to happen to me, you automatically start looking, where is the benefit? And you'll stop just looking at the why. You'll stop just looking at the who, the only ifs, and all of those things. Now your attention is to what good from this? How is this serving me? And it is always serving just from the information, the data that we receive. There's some things about ourselves, some data that we need to see in ourselves that we are only going to see through that pain and that struggle that we go through, or our eyes can be opened. Depression. You don't have to. You don't have to have that. I'm here to tell you today. I'm here to encourage that it's not really what happened. And I know that sounds crazy. I know that you're hurting. I know that this thing is rough. I know that this is something that is shaking up your world and maybe others around you. But the one thing you've got to remember is that you've got to be at peace to be able to hear the next thing to do. You've got to be okay. You have to accept what is in order to be able to hear that higher you speak to you, the real you. Are you willing to do that? We can truly look at pain and be appreciative of it. I know it sounds nice, but when you really look deeper into this, you truly see that I was okay the whole time. You truly see that I have a choice in my mood. Yes, you do. I'm sorry I had to say it. There may be others that tell you otherwise and disagree. That's okay. That's none of my business. But here at Thinkers Anonymous, I'm here to let you know you got a choice. You've got a choice. Choose peace. And if you're willing to choose peace, then you've also know that you've got to be willing to redefine that hurt. Give it the correct definition, the definition that serves you. And you'll see that you'll be able to move through life gracefully. Because we all have issues. Life is what life is. But we don't have to suffer. We don't have to suffer. If you're out there listening to this and you're dealing with something that's heavy on you, you don't have to. Are you willing to let it go? Are you willing to redefine what happened? No matter how wrong it is, no matter how absurd it is, no matter how dark it is, this all is in your hands. Are you going to choose peace? This pain is necessary. This had to happen. This had to happen because now you're almost there. It hurts, but it's almost there. You just now have to redefine it. Give it a new name. Give it a new name, a new definition. And watch your life change. Watch how you move through issues that come. You'll start to see yourself more. You'll start to see things about yourself. Yes, we may fail at times. Yes, we may continue to do and repeat, but the more and more that you remember, this had to happen. Something comes up, remember, keep that as a like one of those index cards that you keep. Something you can pull out, a study guide, a cheat sheet. And remember, if something hurting me right now, if there's something that's giving me unease right now, I have to know that this had to happen. Because it is happening. And if it's happening, it is meant for you. What are you going to take from it? Are you willing to see the lesson? Are you willing to get the truth about it? And if you are, you can be free. If you are, you can have better days. So I hope that this message helped today. I hope today that in knowing that you have a choice and knowing that you don't have to stay there long, you have the power. Call that thing what it is. That setback was not a setback. That was data. That was the step to your greatness, the next door. Redefine it and redefine your life. So until next time, please give yourself the grace. Give yourself grace And always remember that what happened had to happen. The better you could only come by whatever pain necessary. I love y'all. Peace.